Hey everyone, Tony D with the final hot take of the evening. Little Joan went to sleep on the couch. She hurt her little foot during the walk today, and I'm not sure why. She lifted her foot up to pee and kind of went, yeah, and then took a few steps and then didn't want to walk anymore. So I had to carry her all the way home, or most of the way home, and then I set her down and she seemed to be fine. But I don't know. Sometimes she strains her little doggy knee. Dogs of that breed have problems with their knees sometimes. I got her actually a little ottoman for the couch so she could jump on the ottoman and then the couch. It wouldn't be such a big leap for her. She goes around it, of course, and completely ignores it. I tried to train her. I put her on the ottoman, she jumps off, and then when she goes back to jump on, she jumps straight up, all the way up, and all the way back down. So, Joan's a little stubborn little dog. Anyhow, I'm here to talk about the Trump Platinum Plan. I know, you've checked into Mar-a-Lago, and you say, I'd like a room, please. And they go, would you be interested in the Platinum Plan? That's what it sounds like to me. But this is all, I have to call it like it is. It's a straight up bribe to the black community. It's the kind of bribe that Democrats used to make. And that's what I've always said about Trump. He's an 80s Democrat, and this is a very 80s Democrat plan. I'm not for some of this plan, clearly. Being a libertarian and more fiscally responsible, at least politically, not in my own life, but politically, I think this is mostly a bad idea, but let's go through it and see what it's all about. The Platinum Plan, President Trump's pillars: opportunity, security, prosperity, and fairness. That last one, man, you can't make happen, but let's see what this is the deal. These are just the bullet points, obviously. 3 million new jobs for the black community. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, on the surface, presidents don't really make jobs. They make opportunities so businesses could have jobs. And Trump kind of knows that more since he's a businessman, but let's continue. Creating 500,000 new black-owned businesses. Again, not really a fan of race-based policy. It feels kind of racist. So, creating 500,000 new black-owned businesses. How about just creating millions of new businesses in poor neighborhoods, many of whom will be black anyway, probably. I mean, if you're in the urban centers. I think what you need to do is remove the barriers to entrepreneurship, lower the taxes, get rid of the fees and the permits and all the regulation. I mean, he's trying to do that too, but, this is sort of an ass-backwards way of sort of getting at that. It's like, oh, we'll give you the money for all those permits and BS that we don't really need. But anyhow, continuing. Increase access to capital in black communities by almost $500 billion. Again, you really just need to increase the capital for small businesses, period. And if you remove all the barriers, you won't even have to provide the capital, really. And again, race-based policy, not a fan. Safe urban neighborhoods with highest policing standards. Well, that's good. Sure, anybody could get behind that. The question is, how do you achieve that in the most efficient means possible? Now, Trump, he's just going to spend a bunch of money and have more cops, which is one way of doing it. The way I would do it is I would legalize drugs and prostitution, and then the crime evaporates. And then the cops, you'll probably have too many cops on the street as of now. So, again, kind of an ass-backwards way of doing it, but, I'm okay with it. I mean, this is all part of his plan. Perhaps it'll be, he tends to, his plans tend to evolve over time, so I'm kind of hoping, he gets reelected and maybe, some of this just gets shifted around. Commit to working on a second step act. Well, I can get behind that. I mean, the first one did a lot of good. Hopefully the second one will, continue some prison reforms, which, we desperately need. But really, you have to address the root problem, which is the drug prohibition. Access to better education and job training opportunities. Yeah. Another thing that really needs to be addressed is just the educational system in general. I think it needs to be privatized. It's just broken, but the fact that he's addressing it all is a good thing. Trump seems to be on top of that. He's getting rid of BLM stuff, so I am okay with that. I'm not a fan, but okay. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their community. Ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know what that means. Churches should not get government money. They should not. That's probably going to be challenged. I got to imagine that'll be challenged in the courts, but we'll see. Bring better and tailored health care to address historical disparities. I don't know what that means. Better and tailored health care. Tailored to what? I don't understand. Just, fixing healthcare. But this seems like a bit of a word salad. Immigration policy that protects American jobs. Well, okay. I think all the communities can get behind that, especially if you're in a blue-collar or poor neighborhood. So, yes. Advance home ownership opportunities and enhance financial literacy in black community. Well, I don't know about advancing home ownership per se, because, again, that all comes back to the heavy amount of regulation and taxes. If you remove that, people could afford houses and people could afford to keep them. Here in New Jersey, we have astronomically high property tax. But the second part of that's interesting. Enhance financial literacy in the black community. Well, really, you need to enhance the financial literacy across the country. I mean, financial literacy is not a common thing in any community in this country. Unfortunately, you wouldn't have communists rioting in the streets if it was. So maybe onshoring manufacturing to advance jobs and develop opportunities for black-owned businesses. Not sure what that means either. Onshoring. I guess you. Oh, okay. Because it's the opposite of overseas, I guess. So in other words, you're bringing the business back to America, and you're saying it in a weird way. But what I assume is going to happen with this is Trump was doing this to all the communities anyway, and this is just part of it. But the one I read about, oh wait, there's more. Oh, here it is. It's all the broken down part. There was another part of this, though. Where the heck is it? He was going to have, as part of this plan, and I don't know why it's not on here. Okay, here it is here. Wow, so small. One was make Juneteenth a national holiday. Okay. I'm not against any national holiday because it's a day off. But, Juneteenth, again, feels like a weird holiday to me, but, it's kind of, I think what we really should do is return the President's Day to Lincoln's and Washington's birthday, because we had 2 days and now we got President's Day, which is lame. But here's the big one in all this gobbledygook. Prosecute the KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations and make lynching a national hate crime. See what he did there? Sleight of hand. He jammed in Antifa. He jammed a big FU to Antifa in this bill or plan. It's not a bill. So, yeah. That's the way you get Antifa. How's Antifa gonna protest this? Again, this is 4D chess for Trump. It outmaneuvers the Democrats. It outmaneuvers Antifa. Antifa, they can't protest this, right? You're gonna protest black-owned businesses now, turn the whole thing around? I mean, don't get me wrong. The Antifa guys are pretty racist to begin with. I wouldn't put it past them, but the optics. They're very aware of their optics. They can't protest this. They can't. Same thing with the Democrats. What are the Democrats going to do? The worst they could say is, it's not enough money. So that, to me, is the best part about this. Antifa should be a terrorist organization. They're already a terrorist organization in New Jersey, and we had very few problems. Very few. Um, Certainly, if they're declared a terrorist organization nationwide, things in Portland should go relatively back to normal. And these commies will go back to their hidey holes when a handful will become the new weather underground, I'm sure. But yeah, overall, race based policy is not great policy to me because then it's like, well, what about this race? What about that group? What about that group? I mean, not for nothing. Native Americans have pretty much been taking it on the chin for a long time. I mean, where's their bailout? Oh, well, they're not, rioting in the streets with an organization called Native American Lives Matter. Is that what they have to do? It kind of sends a wrong message. Not that Black Lives Matter is even made up of Black Americans, really, but so not a fan of this plan. I kind of understand it. I think he's, I think he's playing fast and loose with the wording, and it's mostly to outmaneuver the Dems, but we'll see where it goes. You're sneaky, Trump. I'll give you that. You're very sneaky.